Well, and that kind of does bring me to something. And this is, I don't know, it kind of confuses people when I talk about it, but I'm going to use the example anyway. Um, I think a large part of what we do on Sunday morning, whether we're the pastor or we're leading our musical groups or whatever we're doing, from even how we organize and prepare the services, is that I think we view ourselves more as a vehicle of worship. Um, just like a vehicle is used to transport us from one place to another place, so too does God utilize means. He utilizes vehicles to deliver His goods.
Right.
For example, I've had the privilege of baptizing many people, and yet it's not any of my action that accomplishes what baptism is gonna do. It's God working more often than not in spite of me to deliver the goods that He offers.
Right.
Utilizing simple water, and by the power of His word, creating faith through the waters of baptism has nothing to do with my action. I'm just simply the vehicle that gets to deliver that. Likewise in communion, it's God who delivers Himself to us. It has nothing to do with any ability on my part or yours. And as we're getting into these worship styles, I view music as a similar vehicle, that God delivers the goods through music. So how would you view music as a vehicle of God's gifts?
That's a great question, and I think I love the vehicle because our goal is to get to church on Sunday morning, right? So whether you take a sports car or you take a truck, we're in Oklahoma, right? There's a lot of trucks in the parking lot, or you take a sedan, or if you're really cool, you take a motorcycle. Well, however you're going to get there, the whole goal is the same. It's to arrive here in the parking lot so that we can get to church. And so as musical vehicles, that's an interesting way to put it because it accomplishes different goals. There's no way you can poll 100 people and get 100 of the same answers of what their favorite music is. And so what we try to do in the vehicles of worship is that I consider the musical vehicle to be like the football lineman of the worship world. We try not to notice them until they mess up badly. And so some people in the worship service, they're going to like an organ-based traditional worship service with bells and orchestra and things like that. And that's great. I can't presuppose who that is. Some people are going to be more interested in a contemporary style thing. But at the end of the day, our goal is so that the text that relates to what we're talking about that day, that the worship responses in the liturgy, that what we are saying in our response to the worship is delivered in authentic text, right? And so as we craft that, we work with our groups in our choirs and our praise bands and our bells and everything like. And bells, that's an interesting one right there. That's an instrumental worship, but that's also something that's valuable to people in worship. So my job is, I believe, to look at those songs and hymns that fit the message, that are wonderful for people to sing along with, that even if it's new, that they can learn so that they can become engaged in that worship.
Okay. Yeah, no, and that makes complete sense to me. I mean, especially because, regardless of style, it's the message. It's what God delivers. Just like in the sermon is supposed to be a proclamation of the gospel message of Jesus Christ.
Right.
It's not supposed to be about the person delivering it. It's supposed to be about the message. It's the same thing with music. I very much view music as proclamation. And so regardless of the style, it's, are we communicating the gospel message of Jesus Christ in its truth and purity?
Right.
And style sometimes I think can distract us from what God is communicating through that music. So I definitely agree. I think focusing it on the message is such a key to what all of our music offerings have to do.
Right.